on camera now. Two men shoot up a grocery store in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and customers ran for cover.
Philadelphia happened just before 9 a.m. yesterday. Police say a man with a gun corresponded another.
Police say it happened around 9:45 Tuesday night in shooting a man deadly on Stratford Avenue. The gun shooting down a black car and fired more than a dozen shots into the store. One of them was armed with a rifle.
I tell all my students, it's like, you're going to do one of two things, right? So the whole OODA loop thing, right? You're going to observe something, orient yourself to it, decide what to do about it, and then act on it. So, and when you act on something, you get two options. Give yourself only two options. So you don't have to do all this kind of stuff, right? You either get in or get out.
What are some of the key things that you're looking for when you're like walking around?
Key things, out of the norm. Anything out of the norm. But so in order to know what is out of the norm, and it's not normal, you have to get out there and find out what's normal, right? I mean, because otherwise everything is new, right? So a lot of folks, even in their own neighborhoods, people, everybody's got their blinders on. They go from one point to another, straight line. That's what I need to do. I'm going to go do it, get back. That's the other thing. I tell them, take the time, wind it down a little bit. Don't be in a rush. Because once you get in a rush, that's when things happen. They just start piling on each other. And then before you know it, you're face to face with, a threat you never saw it coming. Which is what they say. If you listen to victims of crime, any crime, home invasions, something on the street, in their interviews, post-incident, they'll always say, well, I never saw it coming, or I didn't expect it to happen to me, even though they hear about it happening, right? So it's like, okay, pay attention to that. And then instead of saying, first of all, it's a mindset thing. Instead of saying to yourself, well, that'll never happen to me, because that specific exact situation I would never be in that situation. Just say, well, what if it did? Just give yourself that little out, right? What if it did? In my situation where I'm at, what would happen, right? And I give them all kinds of information too, though, about how to, who to look at, where to go for research and crime stats in their areas and stuff like that. And that's usually a pretty helpful thing to say for the people who think, well, it'll probably never happen to me because I'm not in that situation. That happened to them in their situation in their town. But I give them the information in their specific town, homes, and everything else to go find out where the crime stats are. And usually that's the first eye-opening moment. And they're like, wow, okay, well, I guess it could happen to me. I guess it's possible. So yes, this is what we're going to look for. And then people who seem out of place, cars, people, your environment, and then I really go, first thing I do, basic instincts. I remind them that they were born with inherent, basic instincts, human instincts. And over time from social interaction, from their families, their friends, their workplaces, and all that stuff, they're kind of trained to think, give people excuses. Don't be judgmental and those kind of things. Don't think bad of people. It's like, well, okay, there are bad people out there, one. So, it's absolutely fine to be, you don't got to be a dick about it, but you just assess the situation and
be realistic.
Yeah. And okay, that person makes me feel uncomfortable. Okay, well, do something about it then, right? Act on it. Instead of giving because of whatever it is, sometimes it's not depending on, people's experience, right? Different thresholds of, acceptable, like levels of risk and all that stuff. So in my environment, in my life, so I have to accept a lot of risk for a lot of things I did. So I understand, how to read my feelings, first of all, how I think about something, right? And this is kind of sketchy, kind of thing. And what am I allowed? And plus my capabilities. I'm comfortable, confident with being able to defend myself and all that stuff. But now I have other people with me. I feel responsible for other people. So, it's kind of one of those things. Be prepared, right? and avoid conflict if you can. So, but you got to see it coming first.
Yeah.
So head up, look out. Keep out of your phone is a huge thing because people are walking around all day like with a phone right in their face or both earplugs in, right?
We were just talking about that offline.
Yeah.
It's like, I know how to do it.
It's like, hey, so I get it. They sell you two as a pair, one for your left and one for your right, but they both work independently of each other. So even in cars, so hands-free stuff. Instead of using the speaker on your car, you could do that great. But also just keep one in your ear so you can still hear. That's one of your senses that I remind everybody. It's very helpful for situational awareness. Sight, smells, hearing, basic human stuff, human instinct stuff that we've kind of shut down. But you wear earbuds to do that. So I'm going to listen to my favorite, playlist and all that stuff while I'm jogging or whatever, working out. But then you realize you're shutting off 50% of your senses of hearing things, which helps you be aware of potential threatening situations. And it could be natural disasters too. I cover all that. So not just a person on the street, that kind of a crime thing, but that does exist. Be aware of it. But also people who live in, Tornado Alley or in West Coast they have earthquakes, hurricanes, thunderstorms, all that stuff. If you're in those areas and you shut down your senses, which you were naturally given to use for that purpose, like preservation of your life.
Yeah, you're setting yourself.
You're setting yourself up for failure, right? Yeah. Sirens, if you're driving, sirens you don't hear, for emergency responders and all that stuff. It's like, you can still hear them just fine with one earbud in,
So let me ask, if I took you and I tossed you down in Tijuana right now, obviously cartels, we're going to talk about this a little bit at some point, but if I toss you in a place like Tijuana, I mean, how much different is how you're going to move in that area or what you're looking to observe versus, let's say, what we were talking about a couple streets away from here or, Chicago, LA, like, a place in the US.
So almost exactly the same.
That's why I was interested. Yeah.
So bigger cities, any big city in America, I would treat it the same as if I was in Tijuana, Mexico, or anything else. So for several reasons. One, crime is crime, and criminals don't care about anybody but themselves, right? And care about you. And so unfortunately in today's environment too, it's worse for us on the regular side of things, the non-criminal side of things, because the criminals don't feel like they have consequences for their actions.
Especially in California.
Yeah. So that's where that kind of starts multiplying worse for us because they don't care. Even if they do get arrested, you hear it all the time. They get arrested, then they get released. So the whole catch and release program is going ramp throughout America right now. It's like, so they don't care anymore. And then they get to the point. So the level of desperation they are to get what they want, which is usually drugs, big meth epidemic, and is causing people to they're getting bold. I'll put it to you that way. Bad people are getting bold to get your stuff so they can get what they want, and they don't care about consequences because there usually is none. Like, okay, I'm going to go to jail for a minute. All right, roger that. I'll be out by tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll do it again. And so those things are all, horrible. I mean, consequences of what, all the legal system that's going on right now and all the other influences that are creating that. Meth is a huge problem everywhere right now. And then interject just the regular stuff. People wanting to get, medical marijuana or making that legal. It's like, okay, think about the consequences of what's happening though. And right now, even where it's legal, that's where some of the bigger crimes are because those places are getting robbed or people going to and from to get their medical marijuana are getting robbed, right? Because somebody knows they just got some stuff and I want it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it's one of those things. It's like, just be aware that it's happening. And avoid it if you can, but if you have no options, then be prepared to, do something.